I kind of did the same thing as you.
Yeah.
I think I just really had a release session.
Yeah.
No mushrooms included. I did it all by myself. So, I mean, I was really in a state of mind to say it was a dead year, and it wasn't a bad year.
Yeah.
We had some great accomplishments. We succeeded in some things. I had the back surgery. I'm feeling great. We moved into the new house. All kinds of things. But I really just wanted to go, okay, you know what? That happened.
Yep.
Doesn't define me one way or the other. And we came together as a team the Tuesday after New Year's Eve. And really, we took everybody's cell phones for 3 hours, went deep, got to know what we stand for as a team, what we want as an individual. And then we did one-on-ones and really just ignited kind of a new release on 2024. Like I literally 2024, it's just symmetrical. It has such a nice ring to it.
Yes.
I'm just going to hang on to that for a minute. But some really great things are happening in the market, in the economy. I know you've got some really exciting conversation about the realtor of the real estate agent of tomorrow that we're going to talk about too. But as we both come back from being rejuvenated, what a phenomenal state to be in. And you started working out again?
Yeah. I've been lifting 3 days a week. I've never stopped that, but our dog went blind. And when he did, I took that dog on a walk every single day, rain, sleet, snow. It did not matter, every day for at least a mile for 6 years. And when he went blind, I didn't realize when he stopped walking, I stopped walking. And I fed into the sadness that was that. And I just poured myself into making him feel comfortable. Right. Yeah. And yes, he's a dog. I get it. But he's my damn life right now. And I love him. But what I neglected to see was the effect it had on me. Right. I was only thinking about how this affected him, not going on walks and not having that routine. So I tried to create a new routine, and it was at the cost of me. Right. Yes. I felt sluggish. I felt tired. I didn't feel motivated. I wasn't physically as strong as I was. And it was just that morning walk. So yes, every morning now it's stretch, it's roll, it's treadmill. It's just getting in that right frame of mind. And boy, it's making a ton of difference. So, and I owe a lot of that to you, because you always, I mean, you do make fun of me for not doing things, but you set an example. You're always doing those things. I'm like, well, if she's doing it, I got to do it too. So thank you.
Well, that morning routine, whatever you define it as, is so instrumental, I think, in success. It really is. I was actually talking to another friend of mine this morning, Cindy Ertman, who I don't know if you, So she was like, we were talking about our wake up times based on her sleep time. She's a much later owl than I am. And I called her up.
She goes to bed 8.
Yeah. Yes. 11:30. So way later. Like I'm almost getting up. So I called her at 7:30 California time. I was like, "Are you up yet?" She starts laughing at me, but it's that hour that she protects every morning. I think you've found that hour again. We I live by that hour in the morning when I reset myself.
What an interesting word to use, protect. And when you said it, that resonated with what I was doing. I am protecting it from any distractions, anything else that could feed into my morning. And wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. I'm still not getting up at 3:30 like you.
Well, you'll join the dark side sooner or later. Crazy. Hey, so what's going on? Talk to me about.
So 2023, here's what we do know. It brought so much uncertainty to many of my friends and peers in real estate. It's been painful to watch high producing people who now are second guessing themselves. Can I still do this? What does the future hold? Is there a place for me going forward? How am I going to adapt? How am I going to change? And I've just been quietly thinking, studying, talking to friends in the same position, talking to coaches, talking to brokerage owners, people in the know, and just kind of getting a feel for what they see. And there's no doubt we're going to see attrition, right? There's 1.55 million members at NAR right now. And that's not counting the people that just have a license and aren't realtors. There's a couple million people in this nation that are transacting real estate. That number is going to drastically reduce for a number of reasons. We know that. So how do you remain? How do you thrive? How do you put yourself in the best position for the future? How do you figure out what your future even looks like? And so I wanted to share some thoughts that I have with you guys, just about what it could be, where I think the focus should be. Just quiet the noise around you and focus on 8 things maybe that I think are very important. But number one, I would start is are you where you're supposed to be? And so I'm just talking to everybody in real estate right now and saying, talk to the leadership of your company and see where they are in relation to the future, right? Are they counting the days or the ways? And what I mean is, are they counting the days until they can leave and check out and maybe sell the brokerage, merge with somebody else and go on about their business and just say, I did my piece, I'm out. Thank you so much. Or are they counting the ways that they're going to help this brokerage win and help you win as an individual? So I implore you, go talk to the leadership of your companies right now. They will not be offended. If they are, that should give you some pause, but it's a great discussion to have. And it really is a partnership that you have to pay attention to and honor. So I would absolutely start there. It's just, am I in the right place? And it doesn't mean anything bad, but just make sure you're confident with where you are.
I think I want to double click on that for a second, because I think so many people, there's a lot of movement, obviously,
Yes.
this time of year,
Ton.
right? We're seeing a
Tis
lot
the
of it on
season.
social media. Yep. You know, I joined, I rejoined, I came back to all the things. And I don't see that as a negative.
No.
I think that there's, you know, conversation with, you know, did you see that they went to 3 different places? I'm like, yeah, but ultimately you want to do your best work. And if the brokerage, or from my side, the lending side, if they're not supporting you with the tools and the resources, the knowledge, the energy, and the excitement that you need,
Yep.
then you're not in the right place. That's the ultimate. I mean, that's the answer,
That's
right?
the answer. Yeah.
This is your livelihood and it's your life.
That's it.
Yeah.
You better have a partner that's all in with you.
Yes.
Right? That's it. And
Yeah.
I tend to agree. I don't like to see a lot of movement because that tends to show that you haven't asked the right questions or dug
Yeah.
to the right place, but stuff does happen. I mean, you and I have both moved companies in the last year, and it was great for us.
How often do recruiters lie? Let's just answer that question. Have I asked the right questions?
Well, if their mouth's moving, it's a lie, right? They're going to tell you what they need to tell you, but
that's a great question.
Yeah, ask deeper questions. Go much further than you are about the future and how they're going to react to certain things.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Two, I would say, really study how consumers are consuming, right? Generations consume differently. Boomers consume differently than millennials, although they are very similar in how they approach things. It's pretty interesting. They like to learn. Boomers have much more free time to do so now. So they're spending much more time on social media. And that's kind of the two groups that have aligned in some things, boomers and millennials, where us Gen Xers are kind of in the middle, like we're just scrambling. We don't know what's happening again. So, but I think you've got to pay attention to generations.
That actually gives you like an excuse for the way you are, by the way. It's like, it's my generation.
Just describing myself. By my generation, I mean me. Right?
Yes, I just want to make sure we were all clear on that.
100%. This is me. But know how we consume, know what's important to us, know how we react to things. I've talked about this before. Younger people will bring many people to the inspection, right? For me, and Gen Xers, I'll just say me, you know, we come with just the wife and the husband, and we go inspect the property with the inspector, and that's that.
Or we just send the husband.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Just report back. Let me know what we're doing. Whereas now young people are bringing friends, people they just met online, aunts, uncles. They want buy-in. They want to know that they're part of a community, and that's a big thing. So understand that going in, that's going to help you provide a better service. Do the same thing with cultures, you guys. We don't all consume the same way. Negotiations with different cultures is very different than what we're used to as just Americans. So pay attention to that, study up on that. I think that's going to do a lot of good for you. The reason I want to tell you these things is consumers are going to be less patient with us going forward, especially after the year that realtors have had. And I want to make sure that we're knocking things out of the park before they get started. So know how consumers consume. Study. You guys, number 3, make the client the hero. Gone are the days of the realtor flying around with a marketing cape on saying, I am the best product in town. I'm the best realtor in town. I'm going to take you to the promised land because I'm amazing. Bullshit, right? It's Building a Story Brand is the book you need to read. And it's the whole new how today's consumer wants to be marketed to and what engages them in taking action, right? And so we've got to put the cape on our consumers and make their story the hero story.
How old is that book now?
Boy, I don't know. I would say I heard it in the last decade.
Yeah, it's getting, but it's still so good. It's one of those that doesn't seem to age. no matter what the technology shift is.
That's right.
Right. It really is going underneath the technology.
Yeah.
How you express it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Such a great book. And,
Yeah.
you know, and if you can only read 3 pages at a time, you can listen to
That's
it.
right. That was a dig at myself she's taking because I am listening to a book and also part-time reading it. I'm a better listener than reader.
Yes, I know.
I went to Aurora Public Schools. We can only do so much. So, all right, you guys, the next thing is you must be a contract expert, a technician, right? Transparent in all actions that we have. Part of the reason that realtors got into the trouble we did with these lawsuits is we didn't have the courage, the audacity, and the knowledge to have the conversation up front about what agency truly means and how we get paid in a transaction and what that means to the consumer. We owe ourselves, some pain, right? We brought that to ourselves. So going forward, you better be a better technician. You better be more knowledgeable about what each part of that contract means, because every time a publication puts out realtors are this, realtors are that, that just makes a little more caution for the consumer and they start second guessing everything. So contracts is the first place to make sure you can do that. So we've got to be tech savvy, y'all. You've got to lean into technology. You told me something, you were talking to somebody yesterday. It's leaning into the disruption, not leaning away from it, right?
Yes, I
and
did.
that resonated with me. If you want to give that person kudos.
I will.
Cool. All
I'll
right.
give him a call.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That really hit with me. But I think the technology that we seek is not about how it can make our lives better, but how the consumer's experience can be much more improved, right? We are not I looked at my competition always as a realtor was the other realtor, right? The other brokerage, somebody listing of agent I was going up against. I've got to look at that differently now. The competition that we have in real estate is Uber, it's Google, it's Grubhub. It's the experience that people have in how they transact. It's Amazon. It's making it simple, transparent, understandable, and easy. And that's really what people want. Now, we are buying real estate. It's never going to be that easy, but that's got to be a big piece, is use technology to make the experience better, guys. That's what consumers are after.
There's so much fear though, right around now on AI, right? There are some people that are knee deep and they're getting it and it's just simple to them. And there are others that have spent the time, money and energy to learn it. And then there's the rest of us. So, I mean, and I do think it's one of those, I know I need to learn it. I'm on the way to learning it.
Yeah.
And I've decided I'm giving myself some grace in that, to say I might not be as far ahead as some other lenders. I know I'm working my way, but ultimately I don't think that that's the excuse that you hang your hat on as to why you can't do something and provide simplicity and communication and some level of technology with the things that are outside and before AI.
Yeah.
And then you just keep patchworking it in. I think we hang on to excuses. Well, you know, I can't figure that out. It's above my pay grade, or it's outside of my scope, or whatever the reason is. Start taking steps and use the small things.
Absolutely. Set up time in your schedule to study them, right?
Love
Bring them in, lean into the disruption rather than stay away from it. Technology is here to be our friend, guys. I do firmly believe that. We are ready to launch a product that we've been working on for 2 years that hopefully is going to take the place of a current contract writing program that we have here in our market. And we're getting ready to launch. It's terrifying. It's scary as can be, but I'm also really excited about what's going to be for not my realtor peers only, but title companies, lenders, transaction coordinators, and most importantly, the public. They deserve a better experience than what's out there now. And so that's what we're holding our hand with. So here we go. You guys got to be more connected than in your brokerage, right? If you're just networking within your brokerage, that's not going to get you very far. There are potentially some ways that the MLS is not going to carry all the information. Now, I love our MLS, and it's a great place to house all of our data and all of our listings and everything. But people are trying to work around the MLS, right? They're trying to create networks, whether it be on social media channels or whatever, to where you can share listings, which is not necessarily legal at this point, but there is a push for that. But I do believe that there's going to be a lot of networking going on that's going to bring a lot of transactions to the table. So build your network outside your brokerage, masterminds group outside your brokerage, spread your wings a little bit, see what else is out there, but check things out, right? You better have a clear value proposition. We've heard this, make it consumer-centric, not you-centric, not you-centric, not about your production, not about what goals you have and what awards you want and all that stuff, but make it very consumer driven. You got to,
You can have personal goals though.
oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
you need to, that drives you to get up every morning to do the work. But the outward goals, they need to, if you have a production goal, it better have customer goals surrounding it. How
Bingo.
are you going to support more, serve more, communicate more, be more, all the things?
Well said. I mean,
Yeah.
I see so many business plans that are like, we're going to get this award or we're going to close this many deals. And I'm like, well, what's the effect on the consumer? And they're like, well, they're just going to buy a house. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you're missing the point here. You're missing the point. So do more than just sell homes, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
and
are
you're-
agents you coach? You've gotten
No,
pretty far then,
they
huh?
are not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they are not. Wow.
Little
I love this. Tequila in the morning. It's tequila right there. Look at that.
It
Just kidding.
actually
It's not-
could be, because
Sorry.
when you start drinking it from the bottle,
We did bring a new sponsor on today.
Yeah, we
It is,
did.
water.
Yes,
Water's
we need
our new
somebody that works at
sponsor.
Starbucks to sign into these podcasts. We need better sponsorship.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, we're almost done here. Bear with me. A couple more things I want you to focus on, but another big thing is be a better business owner, right? I think we forget that we are business owners. I think we get into the rhythm of I'm just selling homes, closing homes, cashing a check here, doing some follow-ups, doing the marketing, checking all the lists off of just doing, but we don't pull our heads out and look at the 30,000-foot view of where we're going. We've got to do better financially. It pains me how many realtors, lenders, independent contractors are in some bit of tax problems, owing the IRS money because it was mismanagement of funds, overspending, under delivering. We've got to be better, guys. So rely less on your brokerage going forward and make this about you. It's the best thing you can do for the long-term health of your business is take control of that now. If you need help, seek a coach, seek, help with an accountant, whatever your weakness is, cover that weakness this year with somebody that's really good at it. I promise you that income will find its way back to you in the meantime.
It's very American though, to spend more than we have, right? I mean, the savings rate is especially low right now. Our credit card debt is over $1 trillion. I mean, we've gotten into this pattern of getting money in the fiscal stimulus and spending it. And, in fact, it's the very thing that's keeping the GDP up and keeping the economy up is our inability to slow the F down.
Yeah.
We just want to keep spending. But I think your difference here is important because it's the mindful act of owning your switch from a consumer or an individual to a business owner, right? Because if you want to move into the business owner, then you have things bigger than you that you need to protect.
Right.
You need to protect the ability to continue to serve those clients. You need to protect people that might lean on you, whether they're vendors or employees or your family, right? It's thinking outside of you again. The same thing is, taking the cape off of you and putting it on your consumer, taking the cape off of you and putting it on your family and putting on your responsibility and being that better. You are really swimming against the stream though.
Totally. And it's tiring. And I see so many of my friends in that same cycle. I'm just going to sell more to pull myself out of this. At some point, that's not enough. Right.
Well, at some point you start to fall back.
Exactly.
You're
right.
exhausted.
And you're burning out. And now what am I going to do? And now you're mad at the industry and
I'll just BK it because
Exactly.
that's what you do. I got the answer.
No,
that's not the answer.
No, don't do that. It's off the table. We're not doing that. All right. So the last one I think is a big one. It's been a big shift in consumership. And that is the use of data with today's consumer.
Can you say that fast 3 times?
Yeah, no, I will absolutely say a bad word. I promise you. Consumership. Shit. Today's consumer, they want more data. And here's the deal. They're going to get your data that you hand them or converse with them about, and they're going to double check it because that's today's consumer. It's less trusting. There's so much access to the information that we have ourselves. I think what we've got to do better is know the data and create a story of what this means to you is, right? 6 magic words of selling something to somebody is what this means to you is, and be very specific with that. I think us as realtors do a very poor job when it comes to mortgage. Now, I'm not asking realtors to become lenders at all, but I think we do need to be more educated about products, about rates, about what affects rates, about budgeting. And I think you're going to talk about budgeting some, but that is a huge piece that we need to be paying attention to. So if I'm giving you any advice at this point, is partner with somebody like a Nicole or somebody that's got all the data and can give you the real with it. So those are the things I want you guys to focus on. If we're going to make it into that next level and survive this, and not just survive it, but thrive, those are some simple things I think will just get you refocused, get you off of 23, get you a nice path going forward, and just hang your hat on these things. They will pay off. These are going to be a benefit to you. So I say partnering with smarter people than me, which is something I've done with you.
Oh, I so appreciate you.
No, it's true. I'm an idiot when it comes to the numbers, and I admit that. But you do such a nice job of explaining them and what it means. So what are you and your team doing with all this data, and how do you connect with realtors and consumers and the market as a whole on a monthly, daily, weekly basis? I mean, you guys are doing something every single day, constant barrage of information and data. It's amazing. I don't know how you do it.
But there's so much happening every single day.
I mean, right?
That's yes.
It's never the same.
It's not. And I love the simplicity of that list. Like, there's nothing simple on that list. Let's just be clear. All of it's going to take work, but I love the simplicity of the way you broke it down. And then, even offering that to our listeners, even if you could put together a summary for that and put it in the show notes. I've been waiting to say show notes.
That's awesome. We got show notes, y'all.
We have show notes now.
We'll get these
because we have a show. So this year is the year of preparedness, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about predictions. And one of the things I've been saying lately is invest in preparedness, not predictions, because you're seeing numbers all across the board. Realtor.com came out saying that the Denver Metro specifically is expected to see a 15% decline in transactions. Yet, we're coming out seeing, and they say 0.1% increase in transactions nationwide, right? And then we have other experts that say that we're going to see as high as 13 to 15% increase in transactions this next year in 2024. And of course, DMAR has come out saying that we're expecting between 2.5% and 4.5% more closed loan or more closed homes next year.
Okay.
I think that's a very conservative, but especially given our interest lock supply, I think it's fair, the 2.5% to 4.5%. One of the things that Danielle Hale said, I pulled out one of her quotes. She said, "It's going to stop getting worse," was one of her predictions for 2024.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hang my hat on that one.
Come on, Danielle.
A little more. I just need a little more. So as we start talking about 2024, where my head is going, because I could sit here and rattle off. And in fact, if you didn't see it, we just sent out an email yesterday with our 2024 projections. That's on YouTube. You guys go check that out, because I'm not going to go through that during this podcast. Because I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. But we did talk about that on the video. 2024, as it moves us away from 2023, as it moves us away from the insanity and the volatility, ultimately consumers don't care as much about what the interest rate is as much as they do by the speed by which it moves. So if I have an interest rate right now, our interest rates actually went up. The news isn't talking about it, though, mind you. Have you seen anything about the interest rates going up?
You told me that yesterday. I was like,
no, they're still talking about them being low. So they didn't go up dramatically. They went from 6.6 to 6.75. But when we quoted somebody yesterday, they were like, "Oh, the rates went up a little bit." And I'm like, they went up a little bit, right? Not a lot, but nobody wants to talk about it because people are moving all of a sudden. You're getting people are calling you for listing appointments and buyer appointments, and apps are up.
It's busy.
It's very busy. So put it back under the bed. Nobody talk about it. We're going to close the door, and interest rates will hover. We're really waiting for tomorrow's CPI numbers. So by the time, if you listen to this on repeat, you might already know the answer to that. The consumer price index.
That's the class I did not fall asleep in economics.
Yes. So that's our inflation from the consumer perspective.
Okay.
The PCE is really from an enterprise perspective, but it's a measure of inflation.
I slept there.
Here's an interesting stat on inflation. So people think, okay, inflation's going down, so things will start costing me less. Inflation is a measure by which it moves. So inflation, when they talk about a 3% inflation rate, it's not that prices are 3% compared to something. They're 3% higher than they were the year before. And then this month, they'll be 0.1% higher than they were last month. And next month, they'll be 0.2% higher. They continue to go up unless we have deflation. So it's just, do they go up faster or slower?
Right.
That's really what I've been spending a lot of time thinking about, this idea of affordability when it goes into the housing market, because we keep talking about, well, when rates go down. So if rates go down 1 percentage point, you're making buying a home more available to 5 million more people. So theoretically, you could have 5 million more buyers in a market because you have more affordability every time the interest rates drop 1 percentage point.
Okay.
Right. But do they? That's where I start going. Right. Do they? Are we doing the math on any other parts of the equation? Are we looking at the insurance, the HOA, the taxes? So to say that just the principal and interest payment goes down to a level that 5 million more buyers can come into the market is fantastic. And it gives me joy, right? But we have other conversations that we need to be having as a responsible real estate agent and a responsible business owner. To your point, all the things that you just went through, now I'm going to implore you to have conversations around budgeting. That is not a word real estate agents or really actually lenders use. We talk about it maybe in passing.
It's for us, it's what does the number say on the letter that the lender told you could spend?
100%.
And we go, cool, we trust that.
We can spend up to that.
Yeah.
All the way up to the top.
Can I get you a little over that? Are you sure? Let me call the lender, see if we can do a little more, right? That's how it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, you have I would say two buckets of typically people talk about. They talk about your eligibility. What's on that lender letter? So I have $550,000 on the lender letter, let's just say. But really, I'm comfortable spending X. I'm comfortable spending $3,500 a month or $4,000 a month. And maybe that changes based on what I'm comfortable spending. I'm qualified up to 550, but I'm really only comfortable up to 500 or 475 or whatever that number is. Yeah. Well, now you throw the HOA in there and that changes everything. But so you're comfortable, and people say, based on your budget, what do you want to spend? And they use that word flippantly, mind you, I think, as how I'm really actually starting to look at this, because we have to start talking about the fact that they still want to eat. And I'm guessing that you might have met that client somewhere, like maybe at a concert or a bar or playing pool, or maybe they're on your softball team and they still want to do those things.
Yes.
Or maybe they love to travel, or maybe they want to have a kid, or maybe they have kids and they have daycare. So what is really their budget? Have they assessed what that right monthly payment should be? And if it moves plus or minus, can they still afford to be in this home? Right? It's like that financial planner would show you that chart. And it would be like, you got to save X number of dollars, and then you'll spend it off at the 4%. And then by the time you're 78, you'll have run out of money. So you hope you're dead. Right?
My plan.
I'm basing debt. Basing debt. But this is like kind of important, because if I'm only putting 3% down or 5% down, and I don't have a ton of equity like we did all the homeowners who own homes today, I'm putting that person in a position where if the HOA goes up 200%, if their insurance goes up 50%, if their property taxes go up 35%, will they no longer be able to afford this home? And do they not have enough equity? Will they short sale it or lose it in a foreclosure?
And now they're back to below zero.
Yes.
I mean, now they're in a really bad place. And the numbers you just threw out about the ranges of increase in insurance, HOAs, taxes, those are real.
That is the number.
Real numbers. Insurance
in the state of Colorado, we're the third highest premium state. We just saw the biggest increases at 46%. But I've seen other different carriers coming out with even higher numbers than that. The property taxes came out at 40% or 44%, even higher, but then they backed down slightly when Proposition HH was not passed. And then we got some modifications. The tax rate went from like 6.732 or something to 6.7, and they extended the exemption amount. Ultimately, I think I calculated on a $550,000 home, you save about $300 a year.
I was going to say it's very minimal.
So minimal. And then HOAs, have you seen the stories in the news? Oh my gosh, down in Castle Rock, one of the complexes, their HOA went up 600%, all because of the insurance on that HOA. So it wasn't even the HOA saying, well, we have a lot of maintenance. No, it was the insurance carrier increasing from 200,000 to 1.3 million a year. Right. And you can't just have a one-time assessment on that, because what happens the next year and the next year and the next year? That's a new set premium. It's like inflation. It's not going to go back down.
Right.
It's just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
So having those conversations, especially if you're talking about the entry-level buyer, who is most probably the one that's entering into a condo or a townhome, that buyer is going to be most quickly pinched. I have fielded numerous calls, countless calls, in fact, of people who bought when rates were lower into a condo or a townhome saying, what can I do about the fact that my HOA went up $150 a month 6 months ago due to the roof, and now it's going up another $300 a month because of the insurance.
And this was supposed to be an affordable
Yes.
beginning to their homeownership journey.
Yes. And the answer is you can't. There's nothing you can do. I mean, I'm sure that HOA has priced out that insurance across the board. I mean, you could move, but you have a townhome that you locked in at 3%. Now you try to get a single family, even with our 1.7% decline in median home prices, it's probably still higher and in a higher interest rate. And single family homes, our property taxes and insurance have gone up too.
Yeah.
The alternative is renting, but eventually landlords will have to pass on their increases of property taxes and insurance and or HOA if that's applicable.
Yeah, they're not taking that hit.
No. So they're either going to sell because they're no longer cash flowing, and somebody else will buy at the current interest rate and the current price, which will just increase rents, or they'll have to raise the rents. But either way, it will impact both buyers and sellers alike.
So what should us in real estate, us realtors, us in the trenches with our clients, we've typically had this hands-off approach to the financial side. What can we be asking? What specifically should we be asking or engaging in conversation? Is this what we should be doing?
I love that question because you should, right? And I get it. You don't want to ask them how much they make. You don't want to ask them how much they spend. What's their debt to income ratio? You just need to know they qualify. You need to be having the conversation on a cursory level that says, I want to talk to you about some things that are changing in the market right now. And it all hits this year. Like some people have already started seeing their insurance premiums go up, but the taxes are all starting to come due, right? You don't even know what they are right now because the sites are shut down. I don't know if you noticed that. We tried to get our new premium and the sites are shut down until either January 15th or January 25th, depending on what county you're in, where they're going to actually, surprise, happy birthday, here's your new premium for your property taxes. Right. But we're all getting the insurance quotes. We're going to start seeing the property taxes. So it all happens this year. So your due diligence as a professional is to not breed fear, but to acknowledge reality. And that reality comes with a conversation around budget. So if the lender told you that you were pre-approved for $550,000, I would like to talk to you about how does that number move if property taxes go up again in 2 years, because they only go up every other year, which they're not going to go up a lot because we saw a negative 1.7 and we'll probably see 2 to 4% this year. So they're not going to go up a lot. But what about 4 years from now? Your kids are now in elementary school, or now you've got 3 kids instead of 1. We should talk about this even in 4 years because we hope that this is a long-term move. Or what if insurance goes up? Or if you're in an HOA, what does that goes up? Having those very candid conversations that says, if I need to know if your lender had this conversation with you, and if they didn't, then let's us have it. And I don't need to know all of your specific details, but I'd really like to say, if your monthly payment, what did the lender tell you the rate was? Great. What's the monthly payment? Great. Let's get the property taxes from the tax assessor site. Let's do a realistic check on the insurance. And then let's talk about what if that number moved plus or minus, and then start, because your principal and interest is locked. But the escrows, let's start playing with those. And then how do they feel? They still feel good? Now go, right? Because you want to see them at the concert, at the bar, at the restaurants, traveling. You want to see them having the Colorado lifestyle.
That's why we're here.
That is why we're here.
So what I heard was a lot of what if questions. I love what if questions. That's my favorite question. But so what you're saying is, I just want to have that conversation with you about what if.
Yes.
And what does that look like? And how will you be prepared? And how will you react? And if you don't have a good answer, then this is probably not the right budget for you.
Because I could sit here and say it's the right time to buy. Like there are investors that are swarming the market right now. If you're talking to any agent that has listings, they're getting offers from investors. investors, I'm on a ton of distribution lists, and I'm getting all the, it's go time for investors. They're getting in, they see this as the bottom, and they want to see the upside in this. Real estate always wins. We know it always goes up a long time. It is the absolute way to build wealth. Just by helping a buyer purchase their first home, you've moved them into the top 50 percentile of the wealth platform. I don't know what you'd call that, of the wealthy Americans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you've moved them in the top 50% just by owning that first home. And then as they gain in appreciation, they grow even further. This isn't to scare them out of it. It's to have conversations realistically about, I believe in this. I believe in this so deep to my core. I want this to be a win for you.
Yeah.
And what does a win for you look like? And if this property is so tight to your budget that in a year it could no longer be a win for you, let's discuss that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
And what a way to bring your clients back to you time after time.
Yes.
In creating trust and listening. That's all they want from us, is to listen, right? Just let me be heard. And so to ask those questions, that's awesome. So realtors, let's ask questions. Let's be a part of the solution, not the problem.
Yes.
As we have been in the past. It's no longer okay to be negligent, and just let it be what it is. I firmly believe that.
I think if anything, all of the conversations around 2023 and the disruption and the volatility and this questioning, right? I think if we don't look at this as a godsend that says it's time to shake up the industry on the lender side too, right? Totally on the lender side too. I think that ever since 2012, so really we had 10 really good years where I didn't have to question what I was doing, how I was doing it, the product I brought to market. It won. It just won every year, right? And it won more every year from the last year.
Just don't get in the way, right?
Disruption breeds winners. It breeds people who think differently. It breeds people who are able to think outside the box and create strategies where maybe there were none, or where they were maybe not even missing, but where they just were not good enough, right? So this kind of year, I think, will actually create a better 2025. 2024 to me is a path to 2025, because 2025, I'm banking on, and I'm setting up my business programs and plans around 2025, kicking off the next 10 years. Like, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited about where we're headed.
Oh, I'm hand in hand with you. Let's do this.
I love it.
24 is kind of the ramp up. I agree. So this is awesome. This is really good discussion. I think there's some real meat and potatoes that people can take from this and put into work today, and find partnerships that'll help create more stickiness with our relationships and keep them coming back. I think that's the biggest thing. Is it's so nice to work with repeat customers and not have to go and start at zero again, and spend time in investing in this now to create that. It's something we both do. I believe in it heavily. So let's giddy up into the new year.
I agree.
Let's do this.
And as a plug, we have some amazing things as we kick off 2024 with Why It Matters podcasts. And we're bringing this, not only we've been doing it in Facebook, now we'll be bringing it out to podcast channels, to YouTube. But we're also going to start creating events. And I'm really looking forward to one of the ones that we were talking about this morning is a goal setting event that's going to happen in November. That seems like forever away right now, but I know it's going to be here before we know it. And there'll be other masterminds and other events. So definitely stay tuned. And then right in front of us, just a couple weeks away, we have the next big thing. So if you're listening to this and it's before February 1st, this is a phenomenal event for all of our real estate agents and partners to come together to elevate the way you look at everything, the way you're doing things, and really level up your business model.
I was looking at the speaker lineup again that we've worked so hard on for the last year to get this group together. Guys, understand that as soon as this event finishes, we start working on the next one. And it's a year worth of work. This speaker lineup is legit. It is nationally renowned, smart people, people that have proven their worth, people that love to share. and love to push. And so I keep looking at that speaker line. I'm like, holy crap. I
Hey,
am
hey,
so
Justin.
excited. Yes, Peter, bring it to us.
Who are some of those speakers?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was texting with one of my buddies yesterday, Tommy Choi from Chicago. He owns a KW office in Chicago, one of the highest producing ones out there. He was just recognized yesterday as one of T360's top 200 influencers in the real estate industry. Tommy is phenomenal. Who we have, Jen Dillard.
We do have Jen Dillard and Spring Benson.
Spring Benson.
Yes.
Holy cow. I mean, we're going to keep pushing these.
Yeah,
out to
there's
you guys.
12 speakers in
12
total.
speakers. I'm so
speakers in total.
excited. A really great cross section of all kinds of stuff going on, and not all real estate focused.
No, I mean, it's social media. It's Phil is going to be talking about Phil Jones talking about identifying words matter, right? It's one of his big things is words matter. And we know that they do because it helps you convert. It helps you level up. So it's such an incredible lineup.
And Nicole.
And I'll also say that this is probably our most international varied speaker lineup.
Oh.
We have speakers from England. We have speakers from Australia, and Nicole from Long Island.
There you go. The most foreign
New York,
of all the places.
New York is its own country. I will. Well, Texas seems to think that they are, but they're not. It's New York.
They want to be. So Long Island. So next big thing is coming up. Y'all don't wait. Just buy your damn ticket now. You'll be happy you did. We're not going to bring you BS. This is legit. When you leave there and get in your car and go home that night, you're going to say that was freaking awesome and worth it. And I'm going to implement right now. So,
I mean, we've got an incredible speed that's happening. We're already broke through last year's ticket sales and we're selling about 8 to 10 tickets a day. So it's going to be a packed room of high energy. And I can't tell you how many times I hear, gosh, I wish I'd have been there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So don't wish you would have been there.
Special shout out to RE Colorado Association of Realtors, Denver Metro Association of Realtors for being partners with this and amplifying the message. And it's been incredible. So beyond that, guys, there's so much more to come. Quarterly meetings, just anytime you can plug in and listen to Nicole talk economy is a valuable thing. So more to come.
Yes, so much more to come. So make sure to stay tuned. I so enjoy our time together, talking economics, talking coaching, talking just being real, right? Being a real estate agent, being a mortgage lender in this market, being vulnerable and being on point is what this podcast is all about. Because it's absolutely why everything matters.
It's the best. It matters. Our next one is going to be on next week, the 17th, but we'll be releasing these to podcast channels. So pick it up, guys. We do ask you to bring a friend, follow us, follow Why It Matters, follow the Ruth team, follow No Coaching and Consulting. We need that love and support to keep this going and that inspiration to know that people are actually watching and
it helps us serve more.
There you go.
Helps us serve more. So you guys have a great rest of your day. You have what are you doing? You
I got masterminds. No, today is one of my absolute favorite days. I have a masterminds group, the Denver Masterminds. We've been together for a long time. It's just a legendary group of professionals. And so we get together today.
And then we have the DMOR Economic Summit.
There you go.
That's tomorrow.
And you'll be on stage 7 minutes.
I have my time on stage. Hey, I'm emceeing the thing. Give me a break.
Do whatever you want.
I take what I want.
Yeah, exactly right.
Don't let them hear that. Okay. And with that,
all right.
we'll see you guys next time.